Welcome to Radio Free Will, a podcast for sovereign people. I'm your host, George McCullough, and we are today once again with Michelle Mockers, artist, activist, and philosopher. Michelle, how are you doing today?
Not too bad, George. Good, I should say, to be honest.
We were talking just before the show. You went to the doctors yesterday, and how'd everything go?
Well, you know, when you don't know an establishment, it depends how you are received in that establishment. Who receive you? Usually it's ladies, you have to follow them, this or that. And so far, you know that I've been obliged to go to several. I broke my head and so on. So far, I've always been in an establishment where everybody was very nice. The ladies were very nice, very. That one, it was the reverse. Everybody was not disagreeable, but not agreeable at all. Not nice, if you want. And the doctor told me something that I don't know why he told me that. Not to answer me.
He said not to answer him? Or?
No, he told me something not to answer to what I was saying. Because, I had several problems when I...
Busted
I
your
believe
head?
it's a classic thing. When you break your head, you eventually, for example, I see you with two noses, So I was seeing everything in double when I started to look at things. And it took me a lot of time to teach my eyes to look at once at the same thing and see only one nose instead of two noses.
Oh, really? So half of this podcast you've been seeing two of me.
So no, it's it's a very difficult situation like that. And I was always saying a straight line, the window, large window, the wood, it's straight. It's a straight line painted white, and so I was always saying with waves in the world. My vision was with my left eye, with my right eye. That's the right one. Was vision of it was not straight. It was like little waves all over.
Wow.
So I had to teach my eyes days after days. Even when I'm in bed, I have some plants, in top, so I can check that also. So for days, I have to teach my eyes to look at what there is. And it seems stupid to say that, but in the beginning, I was only seeing with that eye, I was only seeing those waves. And slowly but surely, the wave disappears. And I can say that today, I see that straight as it is. So I taught my eye to look straight, like it is in reality, not like he was seeing it. So I told that to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, that's by compensation." He told me, "Compensation of what?" So
how did you do it? With closing one eye at a time?
Oh, yes, yes, I closed one eye, and I looked only with that eye which doesn't... one eye sees straight, no problem. The other eyes, my right eye, was seeing everything, was seeing double, was seeing the waves on the wood. So I had to teach day after day to that eye, closing the other eyes, to see things exactly as they are. So it takes a lot of time because you can show that for 1 hour and then you leave and you left a little something, but it's still the same. So you have to repeat and repeat and repeat again and again and again.
And what side of the head did you hit your head on?
Right on the back.
You hit your head right
Oh
on the
yeah,
back?
I broke my head right on the back. I fall on my head back, So it was broken. I cannot tell you how much it was broken because I don't know. But I know I lost all my my things. They cut everything.
Oh yeah, they cut all your clothes off. Yeah, it's a nice jacket you brought.
To get me.
You're making me jealous. Although your eyes look nice and clear now.
Listen, I was really seeing double, and it was very disagreeable. Everything I was looking was double. I was looking at a pole or a tree. It was a double tree.
And when you watch TV
And
or
now
the
it's
computer?
a tree is a tree.
What about when you were on the computer?
Well, the computer was also double. Everything written was double. I don't like anymore watching television, but everything in television was double. Everything double.
Boy, that
eye
could
was
drive you
seeing
insane, couldn't
Everything
it?
double. So I had to teach that eye to look at things, look enough, and many times in such a way that the eye finally knows exactly how it is. And remember that.
Were you wearing an eye patch?
I was in what?
Wear an eye patch? Did you wear an
No,
eye?
no.
Because you would look pretty good with an eye patch.
Like an old pirate.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a question of patience. It took me really patience, several months of patience to arrive to teach that eye to see things exactly as they are.
And the doctor didn't respect that?
No.
No.
Huh.
Well,
Probably wanted to sell
eh,
drugs
eh,
to
eh,
you or
eh,
something.
eh.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that you had a bad experience at this doctor. Are you going to be going back?
No.
No.
You find another eye doctor.
No, plus I don't need that eye doctor. Really need it was to just to say, check exactly my situation and everything. I can go now. Teaching my eyes how to look. I can go even if I have a little vision, a little shorter.
He has cataract.
So you have cataracts and...
I have cataracts, yeah. So, but I see you absolutely in every detail. That the cataract is for things far away. When I am on the road in a car, for example, I don't see every detail of the road in front of us. I see the road, but I don't see all the details like I was when I was driving, if you want. But I don't care. So what? After all, so what? As long as I see you exactly as you are.
Well, things are supposed to slow down as you get older. So that's nice that
They don't.
you just take your time.
Yeah. And beside that, I cannot say that I really slow down. I cannot say that.
No, you don't seem to have lost any energy
No,
whatsoever.
no. That's why. If you want, I believe that one of the things that keep you alive is your head. If you abandon doing anything with your head, then you get old. But I still, that I still write. I still do a lot of things like that. So that keeps me absolutely valid, if you want. It keeps me going. I am exactly. If I talk with my head, I am exactly like I was, 40 years ago. There is no difference. And I don't see any difference.
So you don't forget things or anything.
I forget things. Yes, I forget
Because
things.
you were late today's podcast.
Because I forget to come on time. So
But you don't forget things or anything like that, or
I forget few things, and that I don't know if I will recuperate. Forget things that I knew. For example, yesterday, I don't know, in a conversation, I remember how much time a horse in a Roman Empire need to go to announce a victory. I don't know how many miles, and he went a fantastic speed. I knew all that very, very well. I remember that, but that's it. I don't remember the detail of it, you see. I lose detail like that. I knew exactly how it was, and now I forgot. I forget how it was.
what's the youngest memory that you've ever had? That you have. That you
Of
can
myself?
go back. Yeah.
Oh, I see myself.
Can you go back to childhood and?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I see
4
myself
years old,
at,
2 years old, 3
let's say
years.
3 years old, on a little, a little tricycle, 2 wheels in the garden. I was turning around some kind of a fountain in the middle, and I was turning around. I remember that. You see that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's-
I remember my first problem was appendicitis, and I was 7 years old, and I remember very well going back home, and my mother did offer me at that time, a very, very small, phonograph with one disc on it, and that one disc was the waltz of the soldiers of Faust, of Gounod Faust, and since that time I remember that waltz all over.
Wow. And what were doctors like back in the day? They treated you
that
better?
time, at that time, I was not in clinic. You don't stay in the clinic. You stay home, and the doctor visits you. It's not at all like today, huh? But you see, for example, in France today, you know that my basic, I never go to France, but that my basic French. The doctors still today go back home in the middle of the night if you need them.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know why you would want sick people driving around to get to the hospital.
But here you have to do that if you want to be taken care of.
I mean, the
You
doctors.
don't have doctor visiting you in the middle of the night.
So you've noticed a change.
Oh, my dear. I don't, can I give, I don't know if we want to talk about that today, but I can give you a very simple example. I went to France in a clinic with a friend. We needed the clinic itself, the hospital itself. And when you go into the hospital, the first thing they ask you is, where are you coming from? What is your problem? So you give the problem, say, go and see a doctor so and so and doctor so and so. So the doctor can send you to another doctor to do whatever it is. You can stay, and then my friend stayed 1 week in the clinic. It was a clinic, you know, small hospital clinic. 1 week. Then at the end of it, the cashier say, how do you pay? You pay with the social security or you pay with your own cash money? That's it. They never ask you if you can pay. Then after that, of course, you pay when you social security or, and you know, I have here somebody who say, because we are taxed, you know, personally, and the business that I was in, I've been obliged to take off for 5 years. You have a little tax on the, you know, on the, for that, for the health care. And here I have somebody who told me, oh, I don't want to pay for health care. When you don't want to pay for health care, you never know if someday you will really need the health care. So how can you say like that? I don't want to pay for others.
Well, you will need it eventually.
And you know, I had another friend who, one of our friends, an old scientist, you know, you know it maybe. He went to France. He likes to go to France, and in vacation he went to France and hurt his knee in the street, on the corner, you know, on the sidewalk of the street. And he was next to an hospital, and he went to the hospital, and the hospital said, we are going to keep you for 2 days. But our rooms are not good enough for you. They rented him a room in a hotel, in the next hotel, for 2 days. He had nothing to pay.
Wow.
Here I went once. The difference is that here I didn't know exactly how to proceed and whatever. I needed a doctor. I went to a doctor. They closed the door in my nose because I didn't have I didn't know at that time. I didn't have the exact, you know, whatever I had to have to be to the doctor. I could have died on his door. They didn't care. They closed the door. So that's the only difference. You know, the others, they pay 2 days because the hospital is not very comfortable. And here, they closed the door on my nose. I could have died right there. Nobody cared. So that's the difference, my dear.
Yeah, and you say that people don't want to pay because they're not going to use it, but they have to stop thinking of themselves. They have to think of others.
Exactly.
We're all human beings. Then everybody deserves the right. And so with like universal health care, a system like in France, everybody chips in so those that are sick can get affordable health care or free health care.
It was a 10%.
10% of your paycheck?
Of your paycheck, yeah. But you are taking care of absolutely everything. You do not have to worry about everything. The doctor will come. They will send you, the ambulance will be for free. Everything is for free. Everything for free.
10% does not seem like a very expensive thing.
No.
You pay more for that in private health insurance in America.
But when I look at the insurance in America, you know, you have to have an insurance for everything. And then you will have exactly the disease that you are not insured for. Huh? That's always like that.
Oh, and plus they always are trying to find a reason to deny you the health care. Yeah, I always thought that if America did have universal health care, imagine how much money that you would save, like on your auto insurance, because you wouldn't have to be paying for all that liability and stuff like that. All you're going to be doing is insuring your car to be repaired, and that's just a bunch of tin. So it would drastically lower your car insurance.
What surprises me, always surprises me, is the number of insurance that you have to have if you want to have some chances to be taken care of. Otherwise, you are like me. They close the door and get away. Where is your insurance? Oh, come on. That would never happen. And some countries in Europe, France is not alone, Swedish and so on. So that's exactly the same thing. They don't ask you any question. What are you suffering from? That's it. That's the only question. What are you something? Can you pay? Are you with that insurance? Do you have that insurance? Oh, come on. That's the most extravagant. It's the most extravagant system of healthcare is the American system.
And in America, it's like, what did you come here for? Oh, I busted my knee. Oh, we better send you to this specialist. We better give you the blood test. We better have another specialist do this. We better have another. And it's ridiculous. They seem to like pad the bill so much.
You know, we don't talk about the healthcare today, but the whole system, when you see the prices, when you see the pharmaceutical company augmenting, you know, there was a big scandal. They put something like $600, 600% during one night, and the next morning it was 600%. Come on, how is it that possible? And now what is fantastic is that you have to have, you know, for this, for that, you have to have what do you call that? The shots, so you have to have shots. So they will invent shots for everything. So we will have to have shots for everything, and at the end of it, a shot to preserve you from the shots. And everybody, they repeat that so much. It's so everywhere, you know, flyers, whatever it is. They repeat that so much that people finally believe that. You know, when I was a kid, I had only one scratch on my arm for the I don't remember, you know, that I had two scratches, and that was it. And when I was in the army, I had a shot in my ear, you know, and that was it. And I had never had anything else.
No vaccinations.
No vaccination at all.
I gotta say, I'm really troubled that they're trying to force everybody to have measles vaccinations. You can't, and it's like, I remember as a kid having measles. Did you have measles when you?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah,
and it was just a natural part of.
Absolutely, you know, all the kids at DAS, all the kids. You had 2 or 3 things that all the kids had at a point.
Mumps. Yeah, I remember having mumps.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can force you to be injected with chemicals. I mean,
because, my dear, they sell you that. They sell and they make a lot of money with that. Don't imagine how much money they can make with that. It goes by millions and millions of. Come on.
It can't be about health.
And after that one, they will find something else. Don't worry. You are going to see next year or in 10 years. You are going to see that you're obliged to, you know, have a vaccination for something else.
All right, we're going to continue on this healthcare. We'll get back to that other thing because we're on a roll here. And I remember when I was a kid, you had like 3, 4 maybe shots. You had a tetanus shot. You had polio, TB shot. And that was about it. Chicken pox. No, chicken pox I might have had when I was a kid. And now there's like 72 vaccinations that kids have to get. If each one of those have mercury and all this other stuff in there.
Oh yes, of course.
Did you shoot aluminum? You're shooting your kid up.
They're as dangerous as the disease itself, the vaccination.
Yes, I mean, I would think back in the day if I was going into the jungles in South America and stuff, well, maybe I might want to consider getting what do mosquitoes give you.
Malaria.
Malaria shot. I might consider doing that. It's just to have for preventative, but when you're forced to do it, and it's so hypocritical of the politicians that they say, hands off a woman's body, but no, you have to take all these shots. I mean, it just seems very hypocritical to me.
Yeah, plus they will invent a new shots, don't worry.
Do you take the flu shot?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, I really get very suspicious when they give away flu shots for free. I mean, it's like, first off, how can they tell what the flu is going to be unless they're doing it themselves? And when they give it away for free, it makes me go, what is going on here?
There's a background.
Yeah, they got to be collecting money from the government or something.
Oh yeah, oh, you can be sure it's not for free. It's not a gift. Don't worry, it's not
But
a gift.
who's paying?
They will never tell you.
It must be the federal government paying. Like your local pharmacy that gives away free flu shots, they must be collecting money, right?
Yep.
So it's not a health benefit.
They don't tell you.
And it seems like everybody who gets the flu shot ends up with the flu.
Why do you need, when you have diagnosed with cancer, they recommend that the first call you should make is to a financial advisor, not to a doctor?
Oh, we have a comment from the audience here. Why is it when you're first diagnosed with cancer that they ask you to talk to a financial advisor? Recommendation instead of a doctor.
Because we are in America.
They want to know where that money's going.
You see,
They want to make sure that you can
If
pay.
you don't have special cancer insurance on top of everything else, all your other insurances, you don't.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as cancer insurance?
They recommend, because most insurances don't cover it, or a certain amount.
Yeah, it's where America. If you look, you have to be covered, absolutely covered for absolutely everything. Even if you say achum, you have to be covered. It's incredible. I've never seen some. Well, I've never seen. Of course, I didn't go to all the countries in the world, but I have never seen something like here. So many possibilities. You know, you have to have somebody to guide you. It's otherwise impossible. You have to be on everything. You have to buy the insurance on this, on. You have to buy an insurance on every disease.
How do
Why?
pharmacies work in France? Do you have to have a doctor's prescription to get a
Yeah,
pills?
sure.
Because I know, like in some Latin American countries, the pharmacy, you just go to the pharmacy saying my head's hurting, and they'll dispense the medication right then and there.
Yeah, in France also, in Europe also, you know, it's like that.
Oh, so you don't need a. Well, you haven't been to France for how long?
You need a prescription.
You need a prescription.
You need a prescription if it's something that is, you know, you have things which are free. The usual thing, maybe the aspirin is for free, you know. But if you need something special, you have to give the pharmacist. You have to give him the doctor note that you need this and this and that very precisely.
And the pharmacy just gives it to you free?
The pharmacy, the pharmacy, it depends. Oh, that's something that depends. Because there are things that you can buy by yourself, the rest is for free. That's part of the whole system of health, if you want. You don't pay for health in France. You don't pay for your health. In some other country of Europe, you don't pay for your health. You don't. You pay all year long 10% on your check. You know, you have to pay 10%. But when you are sick, you have the whole system for you.
Does that include long-term care when you're old? Does that include long-term care when you're old?
Oh, absolutely. You do not have. I saw some very old people. I took care of some very old people in France. You don't have to pay. I was taking an old man with my own car. I was taking him to the hospital for this or that. You don't have to pay. You absolutely don't have to pay.
No, I mean, if you need to go into
We were having questions from the audience about long-term health care.
The long-term healthcare, you don't have to worry about that. The long-term healthcare, you don't. You don't worry. You don't have to pay for the whole work.
But it's good care.
Oh, come on! You
People
have
are
all the
treated good?
hospital for you. You have all the doctors for you. You have the care that you would have anywhere else, anywhere. You know, you have everybody at your service. That's it, and you don't pay. Once more, you pay. If you add all what you pay all year long, you know, you pay 10%. Everybody 10%. The business, as a business, I was paying 10% for my employees. Okay, but so what? You pay 10%, it's part of, of the taxes. But if you need the hospital, you just can give a call to the hospital and they pick you up.
Well, and at least you know what the taxes are being paid for, where that money is going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a thought, because we were talking about pharmacies. When I was growing up, there were drugstores, right? Do you remember drugstores? When you must have been here.
Yeah.
And that's just where the pharmacy was.
Yeah.
But now it seems like every pharmacy is selling food, greeting cards, all kinds of stuff, Halloween decorations, whatever. And it occurred to me, maybe they do that so they can raise the cost of delivering the product to you, so they can justify the drugs at a higher expense, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, these are...
I don't know.
There's no such thing as just a regular pharmacy in the
No,
United States
no,
anymore.
No. When you go to, I don't know anyone don't want to give any names, you can buy everything, everything you want.
You can't buy
a lot of
groceries
things to
yet,
buy.
but
Yeah, a lot of things to buy.
you can get cookies, but you can't get groceries.
No, you cannot get cookies.
Although-
but you can get all type of things for instruments of this, of that. You can find a lot of things, my dear, a lot of things, including
happened to
pen,
just-
and all that type of thing. Come on,
What happened to just the pharmacy, though? Just
they are disappeared. Pharmacy does not exist anymore. I don't believe.
Part of the store.
yeah, the smallest part of the store is the
Yeah,
pharmacy,
in the pharmacy. You have the pharmacist at the end of the store.
and they make you wait, so you wander around the store and buy stuff.
Yeah, but it's always a little department in the store.
Yeah, it's things have changed, haven't they?
Oh, it completely changed, my dear. When I remember when I was a kid, come on.
But one of your rules for the positive dialectic, we skipped over Rule 7. We're going to go right to 8, and we'll come back to Rule 7 next
You have
week.
to have a system like that, my dear. You have to have a system where, I don't know, it has to be calculated if the people themselves on their work and the government has to contribute. But don't forget that we are basically against the 54% for the army. Huh?
Yeah.
When I remember, I told you that story when I went to watch all the trucks turning, with nobody in the trucks and no driver, no nothing at all, but the trucks were turning, and the officer told me they are turning because if we don't spend our gas this month, next month we will have less gas. It's a purely free, purely lost, gas. So if that was going into, the need of people, the medication of people, instead of getting on those trucks that don't need that gas, hey, that would be much better. So we are against the army. I am against the army.
You think that's why they're dropping bombs all over the place, so they can get new bombs for the following year?
Probably.
So it's not self-defense, it's self-survival.
Self-defense, yeah, self-defense. We are exactly, the society has not evolved for nothing at all since the beginning of societies. And the beginning of societies is a group of people who need to have some, guidance or whatever it is, and elect one people, one person to do that. And that one person, who is the chef of the group, became, with the augmentation of the group, became the king. And the king with all the, finally, with all the powers. And the government has all the powers. And it's the same thing. Instead of being for life, except I believe in China now it's for life, huh? They are back to the prehistorical times with that, with the first kings, you know, with that. So, what I was saying, yeah.
The military.
So, but every country is the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. We did not evolve. When you take the history of the 5,000 years, past 1,000 years, you know, 5,500 years you have, there is not 1 year of the history without war. We have not changed. What the leaders do is to contest everything and to menace everything and all the time. We have absolutely not changed the way of doing it. So we are spending, 54% of the budget just to have the trucks turning for nothing, or fight we do not need to be fought. That's completely completely, the society has not evolved. And we have to change society, otherwise it's the end of it.
Well, I think that's the next step in the evolution of people, is that we start thinking in the terms of love for mankind. Everybody is connected in one way or another.
Society, the definition of society, the definition of, you can take your dictionary, the definition of society is the groupement of people interdependent. They depend from each other to survive, to do this, to do this, to that. Our society is exactly the reverse. It's a society of competitive people. You are always competing for something. Your business, your whatever, you are competing. It's not a society of interdependent people. It's a society of competing people.
I don't know. I think about the global corporations. They have monopolies, and they don't need to compete against one another. I mean, if I wanted to start a TV station, I can't get a television license. It's all controlled. All those television licenses are controlled.
And what is absolutely, I should say, not right at all. When you look, for example, I was looking at the 1929, the big crash. Huh? Mm-hmm. When you look at the big crash, you go to your computer, you go to whatever it is. They tell you the story of the people in the street and so on and so on and so on. They never tell you the why, what the bank did just before that. They don't tell the story of that.
And they don't tell the story of what happened to all the companies at that time either.
Absolutely
They weren't in the street, were they?
The company with a little room in that little island where you don't pay, that before it was Monaco. Monaco, you had to have, they stop it in France, but in Monaco, mm-hmm. you had to have just one room, and you could put the biggest company in the world in that room. And in that room, you don't pay taxes.
In Monaco. But that's changed now?
It's changed. The government French put that away.
So now it's the Caribbean.
What is the name of that island?
Cayman Islands.
Cayman Island.
Bermuda.
All the companies have one room. You need just one room. And then you can put the biggest company in the world, you can put in that room. And you don't pay taxes to your origin. So why are the company not in their country of origin? Because they have to pay in their country of origin. They don't want to pay. So they go to the Cayman Island, where they don't pay.
You have any thoughts on the protests that are taking place in Hong Kong?
Oh, yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, it's always the same thing. Communists can go long. It's impossible. So they are suffering from that. You have people who want to be more or less independent and do not depend completely from a government which is for them a foreign government. So that's why they are fighting In fact, they are fighting for a natural freedom, if I can say so.
Yeah, and it seems like Americans are afraid to take a stand.
Of course, we are afraid to take a stand, because if we take a stand, we push in one side or the other side.
Yeah,
So how can you do that?
yeah. It's the images I've seen from Hong Kong are a little troubling, to say the least. And a shout out to the people in the streets in Hong Kong. Keep going.
Yeah. And
You'll eventually win.
you cannot stop that, you cannot stop that. We are with the people of Hong Kong in some ways. When you are against the system, and I am, the dialectic of the arts says that communists cannot stand. And communists do not stand. You see, communism is the people. The people own the countries, the government of the people. The working class suppress the class having money, suppress and it's the classless society which is going. There is no such a thing as a classless society able to do something. So they are back to one guy with the king for life, for life, like in the Middle Ages, for life. That's communist. That's absolutely anti-communist. But he goes with the communist in his pocket, but he's the king of that. That's completely unreal.
But
Completely.
but in the positive dialectic, can you have a capitalist society?
No, you cannot have a capitalist society.
So you need something in the middle,
You cannot have
or
a
something outside.
Yeah, because the capitalist society is born in 16 something, the flying shuttle, to make the clothes, you were
Okay.
So the shuttle became automatic.
The weaving machine.
Yeah, and when that becomes automatic, it becomes a machine. Instead of being by hand, it's not a machine. Now it becomes a machine. So as soon as it becomes a machine, you can buy the machine. And what did happen? We are back to the same system. What happened is that the people with the money, they bought the machine. And they start to employ the people who previously were working the machine. Because they knew how to operate the machine, but they had the money and all that off their hands. So it's the owner, and the owner say, I need you, so I will employ you, and for that much. And that much is that much wants less and less and less and less, because the people with the machine wanted to make more and more and more and more money. And that is the beginning. That is the real beginning of capitalism in England.
And why do you think people feel the need to amass huge fortunes? Do you think they're mentally stable? People like billionaires? No one person needs that much money.
Absolutely not. But that is capitalism. There is no limit in capitalism. There is absolutely no limit. When you look at the American society, that's wonderful thing, which is the society. And the society is what I finally define. The society is people living in the square, inside the square of laws that allow them to be on the sidewalk, not to kill, not to this, not to that, or do this, or do that, etc. So it's a very, very, defined, compartmented society. And then, to complement that society and make money for that society, you have the free enterprise. And free enterprise, even if they put some laws to govern well, free enterprise is absolutely the reverse of that. Is the right to kill the competition. If you kill the competition, you have more for yourself. The guy who is manufacturing the same thing as you disappears, so you will have all these. So you have a formal contradiction between that existence of the people dependent on each other and those people absolutely enemy of each other when business is concerned.
Are you a believer in survival of the fittest?
Survival of what?
The fittest, the Darwin theory of survival of the fittest. Is that?
Oh yeah, that's exactly my idea. What is the free enterprise? The strongest or the smartest or whatever you want can push the others out completely
That-
out,
that
and it
like
will be the
justif-
survival.
that justifies violence against people.
Of course,
It justifies crime against-
everything. It's justified. Once more, is the possibility, the figurative possibility, to kill the competition. If you have a factory which is against your factory, you will be very happy to see the other one disappear, because you will have the job that he was doing. You will have the customers for you. That's free enterprise.
Wow.
As say Jean-Jacques Rousseau, man is born free, and they born everything on that stupid. Man is not born really free. Man is born free. So free enterprise is freedom. Freedom to do everything you want. Man is born free.
Well, and everything becomes a commodity. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting until, I bet you in my lifetime that, and I hope I live as long as you, that you'll be paying for air. They'll figure out a way how that you'll have to pay for air. They'll probably tax your breathing or something.
You know, so it's why I repeat myself, and I will repeat myself all the time. So it's why I'm so much not against. You cannot be against because it exists and it can be good, but the use of artificial intelligence and robots. With a robot, you can build a house in 24 hours, completely. So with nothing to throw away, you know, pieces of wood that are no good, nothing. So what about the people who were doing that house for 15 days or a month or whatever it is? What about those people? The robot is here and can do that in one day. And the people with the money to do it will do that and will sell you the house. And the people with
Yeah,
that,
but you're not going to be able to buy the house if you don't have money. So then they'll probably loan you the money to buy the house,
yeah, but
and then they make 10 times more on the loan than they do the actual house.
yeah, the loans, you know, everything is on loan. I am sure that if you look at America today, at least 2/3 of America is just on loan.
82% of cars.
It does not exist. You know, all those big automobiles, I'm sure that not 1 out of 100 is paid for. All the others are on loan, you know, for 2 or 3 years. So what I repeat and I will repeat myself permanently about that. Artificial intelligence, you know, it's exactly the same thing that we were talking of the flying shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the flying shuttle. And what happens is that it's expensive. And it will become more and more expensive as it will go up directing this and this and that. And it's exactly the same thing. Only few people at the end of it will be able to have that, to be really the real owners of artificial intelligence. And that is the end of the society as we know it. It's the things of the, have you seen that movie, The Things of the Future?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exactly that, my dear. It was a good movie
It's very good.
in many ways.
Still is a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Means that those people can absolutely reduce the humanity at slave, even if it's nice slave, if you want, they can do that. But what is the worst thing is that they will own all the means of penetrating your mind, the mind of your kids, and everything. The television, the movies, whatever it is. By all means, they can absolutely influence you through the artificial intelligence.
Oh, they're already doing it with
Yeah,
the
they're
internet.
already doing it, but they can do it in big if you want. And the thing is that all the people, the machine that will build the house, as you said, that's another problem to buy the house, but all the people who were working, what are we doing with them? What are they doing?
And how does somebody protect their free will, their free mind?
You have no.
Do you have to exercise like you exercised your eyes when at the beginning of the podcast you were describing? Do you have to exercise your brain not to believe what they're telling you?
Yeah, but people will never believe that it is necessary to do that. They will be persuaded.
There are some people, right? You believe it, right?
Yeah, but hey, my age. Come on.
I believe
I'm
it.
not
Ian
born.
here
I'm
believes
not,
it.
Yeah, but I'm not born today. I'm not born today. Today you
Oh,
see
you
something.
mean kids
Oh,
growing
come
up
on.
today
Yeah.
are going to be.
You know, you see kids, they are like that, they have telephones. Oh, come on, I never had a telephone when I was like that. There are telephones today. So through those telephones, the people who own the artificial intelligence mean the whole thing, they can, through the telephone, influence those kids.
Well,
That's-
there's always been some form of influence through newspapers, magazines.
And why? Because the
I think if we want to unite society, we need to get rid of mirrors. And then people will stop looking at themselves so much.
you know, when all the press and everything will belong to,
You broke it?
I don't know, I broke your chair. When all the people who publish things will belong to that artificial intelligence, that will be over, my dear. That will be over. And it's worse than communism in itself. Communism, they suffer physically. That's it.
What kind of world do they envision?
A word that we have to change if we don't want the final catastrophe.
No, but what kind of the people that are controlling the AI? What kind of world do they envision? Do you
I
think?
believe that they ambition nothing at all they don't have. Why since the beginning of capitalism is the fact that only some people govern the rest of it. You know, the industrial revolution made by the steam engine, the steam engine allows to have a factory because it moves all the machines, which basically everything was done by hand before. Now it's the machine who do it. So we don't need the people who do that by hand. We just need the people who will look at the machine doing it. And so they build the factory, the engines, and they build a town around the engine. Lousy, terrible towns. You have example of people, 6 people in the same bed, and all that. So with everything you can imagine. So, but why? Because those people who were there were sure to have a job. They had a job 6 days a week. Sometimes 12, 14, you have even 14 hours a day for 6 days, my dear. That is possible. So with intelligence, artificial intelligence, everything is possible. If people did accept that, today people will, they want it or not, they will have it. If for one reason or another one, tomorrow morning, people with, let's make an imagination, people with artificial intelligence will own all the oil on Earth. They can one day say, hey, every car will have exactly 5 gallons of oil
Right.
a month.
Right.
Control.
And they're starting to do that in China already. We're getting close to the end of the show, and
We're talking a lot about a lot of things, I don't know.
we are. Yeah, and folks, this was a little more freeform, but we did cover just about the last 2 general rules in the positive dialectic. But next week we're going to go back to Rule 7 because you have a plan for robots and AI.
Yeah.
And we'll get into detail about that. But if people want to get in touch with you, Michelle, how do they do that?
Michel Mockers, one word, at Gmail.
MichelleMockers@gmail.com. And folks, and you have a website too.
Yeah. No-pennies.
No-pennies.com.
Pennies.com.
And you can see some of the artwork of Michelle on that website. I got to say, folks, I did try to set up an info at radiofreewill.com, but something's not quite happening. So if you're getting, if it's not going through, don't worry about it. I'll get around to trying to fix that. I want to thank everybody for listening today. Michelle, any last parting words?
Thank everybody for listening to us, my dear.
Yeah. We might not have a show next week because it's my birthday. And I happen to be born on the same day as Hillary Clinton. And that's why I have a lot of issues with that woman because all the bad traits in a Scorpio I see in her. And I see them in myself. At least I'm trying to overcome those qualities. Anyway, signing off for this week. Please join us again next week. Thank you, Michelle, for your time today.
Thank you, George, and thank you for your questions.
Thank you.